Hey guys, just real quick, I just want to let you guys know you can find me at patreon.com/Jonathan Rector. All your financial support there goes directly back into making more content for you guys and you ladies out there. And remember, you can always cancel your subscription at any time. And if you are one of my Patreons, thank you so much. Your help gets me closer to making my personal comics and my dreams come to life. Seriously though, head on over there if you guys are interested, and anybody that gives any money at all, if it is something that you're interested in, you do get access to my pencil brushes that I use in Manga Studio 5EX for free, and there's 5 of those guys. So subscribe today if you're interested in it, share if you're not, maybe one of your friends might be interested in it. I appreciate all of it. Thank you again, and enjoy the video. Bye. Hello everybody, welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And if you're heading on over there, you can find me in all places on the internet, all the good stuff on there, just right on the website. And feel free to follow me there. You guys can ask questions, all sorts of stuff. And actually what I'm going to do is, I wanted to, while I'm talking about my website, just talk quickly about some things that I added recently. The very first thing is what I told you guys I was working on for like the next video, which would be this thing I keep talking about, the Pomodoro technique. It's basically a time management system. And if you're one of those people that struggles to find hours in the day to do your personal projects or client work or anything, check this out. It might be something you're interested in, okay? So if you just head over to my website, it's the very first article right here. It's a different technique, but I show my little twist on it, I guess, when I apply it to comic book work. It's a shorter size article, but there's a video, an accompanying video as well, sort of showing how I set up doing it. It's a little long-winded to be honest with you, but anyway, check it out. And the last thing that I wanted to show you guys as well, I continually get messages from people or private messages from people asking about specific topics, if I've covered them already, or if there's better ways or something that I can do to organize it. So for now anyway, again, if I will be linking to every video from now on, talking about coming back to this list for more videos and stuff. But right at the top here, just tutorials and videos. And I think it took about, I don't know, like 2 hours. It was pretty crazy. But I've tried to break it down as best I can for about, I don't know, 90% of the videos that I have up there. The other ones are kind of overlapping content and things like that. But we've got all our anatomy there, perspective, all the stuff if you want to learn that stuff. Shading, shadows, and rendering, gesture and structure drawing, miscellaneous, things like drawing veins, drapery, rendering metal and stuff. General comic book production topics, that one's pretty beefy. Penciling, inking, coloring, idea generation, writing, motivation and discussions. So you can see right here, the last video that I uploaded was the Pomodoro technique. Fan art, character concept, art blog, and the very last one, and this is something I want to do a little bit more, is just comic book, art book, or miscellaneous book reviews. So I think actually I should have my Cintiq one up here. I guess I must have overlooked that one. But anyway, so you guys check that out if you're interested in that. So that's there for you now too. And like I like to always say, thanks right off the top to anybody that's following me on Patreon. Thank you so much. I've had a few meetings over the last couple months, and it seems like you guys are really digging that, and I really enjoy it. And so again, I can't say thank you guys enough. And if you wanted to head over to patreon.com/Jonathan Rector, you guys can check out that. There's some stuff on there if you guys would like, or if you'd like to just throw me $1, 50 cents, $10,000, whatever, whatever you like. And I'm always grateful for that. Okay, so okay, so sorry, there was a discussion happening during the pre-show here. Sagebeard was just saying that my website was a little slower. He's getting some virus thing. Yeah, no problem. I've added up little percentage bars on the left. There's a writer that I like. His name is Brandon Sanderson. I don't know if anybody reads novels or have heard of him. Fantastic author. I got the idea from his site because I always thought it was sweet when you can go somewhere, especially if you like somebody's content. Like I love his books, and I always want to know when his next ones are coming out. And what he does is he puts a little bar like that. It's like if you ever play role-playing games, or really I guess a lot of games nowadays, they'll have like XP bars to level up and stuff. And I like to do that because it's a little therapeutic that I can go in there and I can change a percentage whenever there's like a noticeable jump. But it also lets like people like you guys or fans or whoever, you can stumble on there. Maybe you're looking forward to the YouTube video thing that I said, like the making a mini comic tutorial. You know, there's at least a progress bar, so whenever you get a chance, if you remember, you pop on over there and you check, and it's like, oh, okay, it's going up, or it's done. Now, you know what I mean? You can go and you can check it out. So I always thought that was a cool thing to put in there. So this show is for you guys and you girls, okay? So for the next hour, I'm totally yours. So if you had any comments or questions or needed help with anything, don't be shy. Please just write your question in all capitals in the chat. That way I can scroll through and see them very quickly. And like we usually do at the end of the show, I'll open it up for art critiques for anybody that's interested in that. And until we get questions, if we get questions anyway, it's not a big problem. I'm just going to be working on Worlds in Peril here. Just still working on some inks. And it's going pretty good. I sort of have this, it's a pretty strict deadline this week. I have to hammer out this page, and I believe it's 3 more pages, and you know, it's already Wednesday. So it's going to be interesting. But it has to get done in order to hit a deadline. And I'll be honest, it's been a very long time since I've had to stay up for a deadline. You know, like burn the midnight oil and all that fun stuff. It's not something I like to do, and it's something I try to stay away from as much as possible, because it just never feels good, and it always feels like I'm just working for the deadline. Like, it's very evident, you know, that the only reason you're tired and putting yourself through garbage is because you have to hit a deadline. You know, and whether or not it's my fault or well, it's always the artist's fault, I would say, for deadlines. Because you're the one that's agreeing and saying yes, you'll do it, sort of thing. So anyway, there's that. And what else was I gonna say? There's been so much happening this week. It's kind of all over the place. I got some personal project stuff moving forward. One with a good friend of mine, and we'll release that with you guys. I don't know. It's more of like what we're doing is we're trying to just do a collaboration project. He's never done comics before, but he loves them. He's fallen in love with them, and he's a writer, loves writing. So I thought it would make sense, since he's like probably the only real person, like real life person, that I hang out with that likes to read comics more than I do. And I don't have a lot of time to read comics because I'm usually trying to make them, right? But you know, I have people that I can talk comics about where it's like, oh, who do you think would win in a fight? Like, you know, like fanboy sort of conversations, which are fine, but the nuts and bolts and the gritty, you know, let's figure out how to write one, how to structure it, then start talking about like panels and just the stuff of comics, you know, talking shop. So I'm very fortunate that he's into that, and that I have somebody in my life that's at least currently into that. It's a really cool feeling, and that's why I thought it'd be healthy and therapeutic in a way to kind of spend like a night a week, just him and I, we hang out, we talk about something, and eventually it was like, you know, we should really be doing something, so let's just come up with a simple, fun project that gets us a little bit of experience, and you know, see what happens from it. So I don't want to build that up too much. I wouldn't expect too much from it, but I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention in case you guys are doing something like that. Maybe you guys got a buddy, or you know, somewhere you guys can hang out. But anyway, I'm jibber jabbing. You guys tell me what projects you working on right now. What are you guys working on? Doesn't have to be literally right now, but it can be, you know, what's on your shelf right now. What are you worrying about? Struggling with anything? You had a kick-ass art week this week? I've been trying to be more conscious of art that I'm looking at in comics, and the recurring theme I keep coming up with is like simple line simplicity. Like, for example, these lips that I just drew, okay? Look at all the holes that are in there. Let me just zoom in. Even all the nose and stuff, right? When I turn the pencils off and you zoom out, it actually doesn't look too bad, if you ask me, right? But the old method that I would be thinking of with this sort of stuff is like all those lines need to be full, you know, and it's sort of like getting into a mindset of just, you don't have to draw everything, you just have to imply things, you know. and it's to add not just speed, but keep things simple. Don't have to overthink things, like especially in a scene like this where it's real people talking about a game. But anywho, so Lars is saying he's always burning the midnight oil. Finished her drawing last night for a friend, and she wanted a picture of her looking like A.B. Chase. And how'd that turn out? Lars is he said he thinks it turned out pretty good. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Then he's following it up with, I feel like I'm in a slump right now. I was trying to do an Inktober thing, and I started to feel like I had to draw. Yeah, that's not, well, it's not a good feeling when you're just drawing for fun, right? But if you're drawing for somebody else, or in this case, I know Inktober is supposed to be like a fun thing, and if you're not enjoying what you're doing, it's gonna just suck. But you know what I mean? Like if you're working for somebody else, I guess you really don't have a choice. You have to draw no matter what. But yeah, art funks are they're the worst. And the worst part too is you know, you never know when it's gonna go away, like when it's done. The only advice I have, and it's the best advice that you'll ever get, and it's also the worst advice. It's if you're in an art slump, or if you're just like feeling like I can't, you know, like everything's coming to shit. I mean, the best advice you're gonna ever get is just keep drawing anyway. The worst advice, why that's the worst advice anyway, is because that's the problem you're in. You don't want to draw, right? So you're stuck. But if you can remember to just keep drawing, even if it's trash, like I find I get out of art funks quicker. And stuff, but it's that push that's the hardest part. And there'll be comments and stuff. There's a few people I talk to where they don't experience this sort of thing, and that's cool. But I know a lot of people that do, and not a lot of people understand it, and it's very hard to describe. Besides, like, you know, I've always talked to people. I'm saying I know a lot. Maybe I'll pretend that I don't know anything here, and I'll just talk. But there's people I know that they get it all the time, and they don't know where it's coming from or what it is. And I've heard some people say, and I mean, it's all opinions, right? So there's never really a wrong one. But people would say things like, you know, if you really wanted to be doing this, if you looked forward to doing this all day, then that means that's what you want to do. And if you're not doing that, then this might not be the thing for you. And I don't really agree with that, because there's so much that comes in play, right? Like if you have kids or something crazy, I have no idea how people get the energy to even do what they're doing sometimes. But you find a way, I guess. You know, I'm just saying, draw. Just keep drawing. Open up a sketchbook and just do shit, man. Just do shit. Like if you can train yourself, and this is something I struggle with all the time, but like if it's I'm done. Like right now, I walk away after the stream. I'm just like, this is crap. I'm done. I'm just burnt out. Okay, I've had a long day of whatever excuses you're gonna tell yourself. Whatever I'm gonna do, even if it's just fart around on the internet. And I'm not using this as an excuse, but sometimes you just it's the way it goes. I try to always have a sketchbook around me so that I can just scribble crap in it. So while I'm there, if I can knock out a page of sketches, that's okay with me. As long as it's like I'm still moving the pen around, you know? If I'm watching TV or a movie, bring the sketchbook there, and you know, it kind of sucks because, like, let's say I want to watch Aliens, man. It's a great movie. It's like, that's a good movie. It's like, you know what, I'm done. I've had a long day. I've been at work, all that, you know, stuff. I'm going to tell myself, I'm just going to watch a movie and relax. Laying down on the couch is one of the coolest one of the coolest feelings. Especially after a hard day of non-physical labor, whatever the hell that is. Working with computers. So you lay down, and I try to, you know what I've done as well? I'm all over the map tonight. But I've also, let's just say I'm going to go watch a movie after this because, you know, I deserve it, or I'm just out of it. I'll have my phone with me and I'll actually set an alarm clock, bring my sketchbook, and I'll set the alarm for like something like, you know, appropriate, maybe 10, 15. And I'll just watch like Aliens, let's say. I'm watching it and like maybe forget about it, the alarm doesn't matter, but it goes off and it's like, okay, well, I'm still going to watch Aliens, but that 15-minute mark was like a break. Take the sketchbook out and just noodle. Draw aliens while I'm watching, you know, just draw that kind of stuff. So Lars is saying, yeah, the feeling of being stuck is spot on. I find my sketchbook helping, though. No pressure there. I have my studies and a part-time work. And then I have to find time to draw. And the Inktober was too much. If I didn't have to do my part-time job or whatever, I think it would have been good. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm starting to realize, too, that it's the type of projects we take on. I've got the full-time job, and there's been plenty of times where, whether it was this job or another job, and it's like, you know, if I quit, I could just do comics full-time, and that might be true. You know, who knows? Who knows? But it's just, you get home, and, you know, it's just work. It's work. And I don't know. Sometimes you just find it where it's like, you got nothing you can do, man. You just got to, like, hope for the best. Try the Pomodoro thing. It works for me. Like, if you can even get it started, it helps. But if all you're doing is, you know, what you think is crap all the time, it's not a good feeling, and it's hard to get out of that. Outside of time and just like inspiration, I guess it's pretty hard to fix, I suppose. I don't know if I'm helping you out there with that. Alright, let's save this up here, and it's going to take forever to save. I have this synced to Google Drive, and every time I click save, it opens to the wrong thing. I want to save it to my hard drive, and it's tedious. Page 9. Wow, that's loud. Let me turn that off so you guys don't ever have to hear that again. Lars is saying, I don't know if you know Toonbox Studio on YouTube, but he does his own pinup girl every week, and I'm thinking about doing the same thing because it's manageable. Like I would love to do comics, but it's really time consuming when you aren't too effective like me. Yes, I agree. Comics, if you think about it, right? And I know you know this, but I just like to visualize this stuff. So this page has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels. Theoretically, those could each be a pinup, right? Or an illustration. That's why comics take so long. And if you're learning and things like it sounds like you are, and all that, Lars. But maybe it is just a pinup. Do a pinup like a superhero if that's what you like, or one thing I used to do, and you might like this too, if you like world building and your own stories and stuff, is one day a week do a pinup. If you guys remember, there was like probably I think a good month when I was just doing Guildborn stuff while that project was still in development. I just took the hour with you guys to spend on personal projects, and what it was doing was it was letting me build up a library of characters, you know, whether they were going to be main characters or just people in the world. But working on licensed characters and stuff, that's also really cool because it gets you, it can get you some eyes and some traffic to your site, and to you as well, if you want that sort of publicity, I guess. Sort of like a marketing trick. For example, what's a superhero movie coming out? I don't know if there is any coming out. Like Avengers 2. Once Avengers 2 starts coming towards it, like it's like a month out, if you were to start doing like a pinup a week and just tagging it Avengers 2 and stuff, you'd notice a pretty large increase in traffic to your site or Facebook, whether you're getting follows or likes or shares, all that stuff. And there's something to that. I know that's not what you're kind of talking about, but right, this nose is wrong. It's got like a dog nose. What's up that high? Anyway, get a line later. So Lars, I know you're probably like, you and one other person are probably the most active in the chat right now. But how do you guys feel about like book reviews? Actually, let me know too for in the comments section below, because this will be up on YouTube, so there will be more people that'll see it. Let me know if you guys think about like comic book review, not comic books, because comic books come out all the time, and I mean, well, you know, who knows? It's content. Maybe I'll do it every. There's only like 2-3 books I get every month. Invincible, Ninja Turtles, and I think that's it. You know, like I don't experiment too much with issues. So maybe I'll do it. I don't know. It just feels kind of whatever. But like art books or graphic novels, that sort of thing. I'm not, you know, I don't see too many of the reviews up there, and I'm wondering if that's just because people don't really care about that stuff. You know, like I very rarely ever look for comic book reviews myself. I more look for art books and stuff. Yep, that's exactly right, Lars. Yep. Oh, there is a lot of superheroes coming out right now? Really? Man, have I been out of it that much? I still haven't even seen Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I always heard that movie was really good, so I'm excited to see that. That's kind of a thick line there. Oh, for sure, yeah. I know there's a lot of movies coming out soon. I just meant by like in this year, like November, December. I'm not sure. Let's give her an ear. Okay. See how this panel's coming out here. Let's turn the pencils off. That's alright. This guy's face is I don't, he's got like a serious case of melt face going on here. So we can fix this up. Let's get this other eye. Ish. I don't know. Sure. Actually, let's just give him a little extra jaw or cheekbone. You saw a Ninja Turtle movie and you didn't really like it. Yeah, I've heard people mixed. I didn't mind it. It for my reasons, it was what Ninja Turtles always is. You know, family. To me, that's what Ninja Turtles is. So as long as it's always following that and it doesn't deter too much, I usually don't mind it. And I thought it was kind of cool. I honestly was expecting Raph to take off or go missing or something, like he always does in usually every iteration of the Turtles. But the fact that he was the one that had to go save his family and stuff, I thought was just a little cool twist. Felt a little out of character for him because he's never really the one that does that sort of thing, I guess. But the one glaring thing that I thought was just, I don't know, weird, I don't mind it because I like it, is how they're like the Hulk. They all have like super strength. I love the Hulk, so I got over it pretty quick, especially with like how big the turtles are. But again, I was also the same guy that I refused to see it because of the way that they looked. They looked, I don't know, disgusting. And the more I watched the movie, the story still felt like turtles. It didn't seem like it was too far gone. I had a lot of fear for that. And the little things I could look past, and the way that they looked, the more I watched, or as I watched the movie, I didn't really start noticing things like, oh, those nostrils that in the screenshots and stuff that you'd see before. It was like, ugh, gross. Like, it just looks dumb. This is just me. That's just mine. So I just want to see what you're saying there. It was better than you were expecting, but still didn't like it. I didn't like how they learned to be ninjas. Yeah, I thought that was kind of silly too. And I'll say one thing too. When Splinter started talking, oh man, that was such a letdown. In the original Turtles, I thought that I still, every time I read the comic book right now, and it could be just because when I grew up, that was the voice I heard of him. But it was more similar to the cartoon in a way. It just felt more like like gravelly and stuff. And then this one started talking. I was just like, it's not, it's not there. But I'm glad it did. It did good financially and stuff. So at least I'm assuming there has to be a sequel. And if I can at least get a movie with Bebop and Rocksteady in it and Krang, fuck. I just, it's time we had those guys in. Like, Shredder's cool and all, don't get me wrong. The Shredder in this movie, I thought he was shit. I like the old samurai style, or not samurai, what am I talking about? Ninja style of Shredder. But I just want Bebop and Rocksteady, man. It's been so long since we've had them. Or we've never had them, so. Yeah, he could have been. I have to rewatch the movie. I saw it when it came out, so a lot of things are mixed up from what I remember and what it actually is. Alright, let's give her some eyes. Hey Zelda. Yeah. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, that was probably one of the best parts too, was the fact that Megan Fox really wasn't anything in the movie. Okay. So that panel's done. Where are we going here? We still got... I don't know if I want to do the inks for this just yet, or there's still so much work. Like this panel here, ugh, that's going to be a lot of work just because there's perspective. This one, it's a bunch of people talking. This one's the easiest one. Then we got her down here kind of... what time is it? Okay, so we still got a half hour. Hey, Michael. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? May as well get this one out of the way. Okay, so what she's doing is she's got a force field. And she's, I guess, telekinetic, so she can manipulate objects. And the two heroes are just charging at her. And she just flings them to the side. So these are her arms kind of going like ripping to the side. And then it sends these guys, these two clowns, the heroes, into a building window. Her best work was Jennifer's body. Ugh. Like, how are those movies? Now this dress is gonna be a bitch. Alright. Alright, let's get the perspective in here. Actually, now that I'm looking at that, I like that perspective doesn't work at all. She's not... Okay, so this is going to take a little extra work. The penciling wasn't done correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this the old school way. So we're going to get a perspective in here. We're going to need a plume line. Is it down there? Just thinking out here, sorry guys. Where's the perspective ruler? Okay. Oops. What is going on with this ruler? Alright, let's try this. Hopefully her business. Put a bunch of perspective lines in here. Yeah, we'll do the other side. Why won't you let me draw up here? There you go. What's that? Panel number 1. Do you use the hand as a cheat to show where she's looking, seeing how she doesn't have any pupils? I mean, I guess so, yeah. I'm not thinking about that. It was just one of those, to me, like, this is like a Magneto pose. If I had to pick a hero, you know, or like a villain, like, go get him sort of thing. But she doesn't have any pupils, so I guess it subconsciously it's that. I'll be honest with you though, I didn't put any thought into it outside of if I was Magneto, you know, like that's the shot I always see Magneto doing is, you know, that or that villain just they flick an energy blast at the heroes, you know, or like this could be Thanos, anybody doing just like that sort of Jim Lee kind of pose, I guess would probably be more appropriate way. Alright, let me just try to see here what's going on with this perspective. Alright, so the shot I want is buildings. Sidewalk. Road. So why? Oh man. You know it's late when trying to do perspective and it's just not clicking. I don't understand. Alright, so we're looking down. Hey Zelda. So what is the perspective to this? Got points. Oh man, that's so horizon lines here. Let me throw in perspective here. Okay. So that's why I was messed up. Gotcha, brain. Thank you. Let's try it again. So we're gonna have perspective down here. Going there. Alright, let's see if this works. Yeah, this frustration with this pencil or this perspective ruler lately has just been crazy. What's that? I'm having problems with that Thor piece, trying to show that he's. Oh, okay, that she's looking towards Thor with her pupils. I'm not going to utilize her hand or finger pointing. Maybe I could direct the viewer with Hellfire motioning to Thor. Yeah, if you want. Take a. Do you have it on your computer anywhere or anything? Because we could do a quick critique on that if you want in about 5 minutes. Okay, that's a better perspective. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to turn that off, and we're going to lower the, or just turn it blue. Alright, let's figure this out. Last week you talked about the update for MS5. I know that you found it, so did you just update that, or did you? Oh no, I have a legit copy. I've purchased Manga Studio 100%. As for what you're talking about, there's got to be solutions to it. Just check like torrents or something, I would assume. Okay, thanks, Michael. Copy link. Let me just make sure that's working. And paste and go. Okay, I see what you say. I still like that Thor pose. Badass. Yeah, sorry, Lars. Okay, so she's coming here. I don't want the size of the characters to be too whatever. So we need somebody coming here, and then they got to go over here. So let's try to get the flow. So obviously you're gonna start here. You're looking here. Hope the fist brings you down. Yeah, it's such a. Maybe there's a better shot. Just try to sketch out an idea here. Instead of it being bird's eye, what if it's a worm's eye? And we see underneath of her, got her arm, it's a little more clear. Follows the camera a bit better. I mean, you got these two guys coming in here, then it pulls out. We get a little impact. She can still throw them over here. What's her perspective? Looking like that. Let me turn this off. It's kind of turning into a little bit of a mind fuck. Oops. Gotta get some building action here, and you can see them smashing. Might be a better choice of shot. What's that? Maybe if I made the image of hella larger, she would be big enough for that everything falls under her eye line. Oh, this it's just a scribble. It's still part of this. What I'm trying to do is the scribble here is I'm figuring out the flow that I want the viewer's eye to go. So normally, whenever you turn a page or anybody looks at something, it's a you always look at the top left of the image, especially if it's a face, especially if it's the eyes. That's usually the first place people look. So no matter what, you're kind of stuck every time you see this panel. You're gonna look right here, especially right here. You got no choice. So from here, though, where do I take the viewers? So I want them to go this way. Obviously, read left to right, but this fist should be bringing them back. So the angle should be like this. So if there's something I could do, what I'm struggling with here is because if I have this line coming out from the fist, it's going into her, but she's flinging them. So if she's flinging the characters into the building, they got to be down here, right? So maybe that's just, I don't know. What time do we got here? Okay, well, unfortunately, we're not going to figure this out together. Let's just copy this image and do a little critique here to help out Michael. let's do 72 dpi. All right. So, like I said, in my opinion, I still think this is an awesome piece, and I can't wait to see you finish it. Especially what you got going on here with Thor's hammer. I always love that stuff. Get some lightning or something coming in. Okay, so we want to fix her to make her look like she's looking at Thor. My thought is to rotate her head back more of a worm's eye to get more of her warped headdress. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to erase all that. Alright, so we got this real kick-ass hammer going. So sketching the rest of the page. Okay. So again, like honestly, if we even took, and we're not going to, but control copy. Right, like that's what I love about this pose. Like it's used everywhere. It's universal. So here's the thing: if we start to go up this way, it starts to make this really weird composition happening. You know what I mean? Like, especially if she's that tilted, it looks like she's in the tornado. But if she's a little bit more flattened, you can kind of get away with it. But you actually just remove that arm altogether. Make her a little bigger. I just don't want her to be the same size as Thor, right? Because then it starts to look really, really weird. And I apologize, I don't know Hela's headdress that much. I just know it goes all over the place. So, like, right away, I think, like, it's the tilt, like what you're talking about, is maybe what we just need to worry about. But another quick thing we can do here is figure out what is the composition, right? Like, clearly he's the focus. So if he's the focus, are we just going to make a... If we were to break this down to the rule of thirds, nothing's really hitting that. So rule of thirds doesn't work with what we have. The Frazetta triangle could work. You've got the base down there. How does this triangle look? That one might not be bad. Let's turn the triangle on its side. Or we could just have everything pointing at him. I kind of like that myself. So we'll have everything kind of pointing at him here. So let's try to design the composition, have everything pointing at his face. Okay, so even the feathers, look, we're going to put a little curve right here in the top. That's pointing down. As much as you can without it looking really weird, having all the lines kind of going towards them. So even if we have lightning, I'm not sure if you put it in here, Michael, or not. I don't know where this arm's going. So let's just say going behind him. It's really torquing the hell out of this thing. So we got the thighs kind of coming up. We're going to bend that to still bring the knee pad into his face. Just a little bit. And I know he's got a cape, so we can do some really weird things with the cape. We can kind of go this way with it, which helps with the composition, but we know hella needs to be there. So do we do this sort of cape? Nah. What about going this way? It's not bad, just straight out. And we don't want it just draped, because then it just looks like there's no action kind of happening there. But I know we got a whole bunch of the guys. So you know what we could do actually? I'm just trying to think in the piece to get like ideas. So we've got all the undead. What we're going to do is we're going to have, you've already kind of got it going on, so let's just keep that theme going. Like there's a hand right here. Let me just zoom in so you guys can see. We're going to want all these hands. Let me just switch this up. We want all these hands to be pointing at his face. But what we can also do to get some thematic stuff in here to solve like a problem of this cape, we can have all these hands grabbing for the cape and just pulling on it. But those lines, they're still pointing towards his face here, okay? Do you see what I'm doing? It's ripping it up, you know, they're really, he's in a world of shit right now. But it's Thor, so he'll make it through. So you can get like those shadows kind of pulling that way. I do like the idea of Thor only seeing side of his face. Looks like he doesn't have time to look at us. He's just busy kicking ass, you know. And then what we can do to get that motion up in his face, we could get, that's where we could put the hair. We have the hair kind of coming out like that. Again with the lines kind of coming up at his face. Maybe curl it back, point back into his face on this side. So you can see like if you start thinking in composition, like things that you have to do, it makes a lot of decisions easier, right? Like, oh god, I need all of those lines to go back into what I want you to look at, which is in this case his face. So I'm not sure. I think it's more undead guys coming over here, but I think you even had some faces in there maybe. So you get some faces. You want them getting close, but you don't want them too close. So I'm just gonna start doing these scribble lines, these like sharp lines. You know these are all hands, and like how you've got like these really kick-ass fingers in the foreground. That looks good. Yep, more of like a roadmap, exactly. So look at like immediately what's going on at the bottom here. Like we've got all this attention coming at us. Like it's almost like speed lines in a lot of ways. And you don't have to necessarily have every single line in the picture doing the speed line thing. Just the majority of the stuff is all pointing at his face. So I still like the idea of lightning. Do what you want. I'm just going to put it in for this example here. So that lightning is still lightning, but it's still going towards the centerpiece, right? Like he's charging that up. But we still need what's her name in there. So she needs to be looking down here, and we're not just going to, I mean, you could maybe change it up to having her looking down like this. Like she's overseeing everything. I don't know if I kind of like that. Or we can do maybe she's looking up this way, like looking down at us. You get the really cool droopy cape that she has. This lets us get all the horns and stuff. See more of her silhouette if she's faded up. And I mean, you can't really get to see her face that much. Probably you're just going to put the fancy eyes. I don't know. It depends on how you want to light it. That's one example what you could do with her. Or if we were to kind of stick with what you already got, so you don't got to redraw the entire freaking thing. I still agree with you with having her like a worm's eye view. So let's really jack that face back. You might have to do some reference for this because it's a pretty tricky pose. Then if you kind of just hint at this eye, it makes them look like they're sort of sneering down. And this will still let us do the kick-ass helmet. I think she should be uplit with the hellfire of Thor's lightning. Yeah, there you go. So when you start doing stuff like that, when you start affecting her lighting based on what Thor's doing, it puts her in the same scene, right? So if she's just sort of like nobody can see her, she's just doing her own thing, then you should probably light her as you would. However, the underlight, like you say, is actually really good because it's like a horror thing, right? It's doing its own thing. So it's a good thing. But I don't know. Hopefully this helped you out. I mean, I think you are definitely on the right path with making her look more tilted up. Let's just go back to what you had. Where was it? Okay, so that's what you had there. So you're pretty much there, yeah. I would definitely just have more lines going towards him. It's a lot more work, but the impact is huge, and it lets you fill up all this negative space right behind Thor, and she's just kind of chilling there. But yes, you're definitely on the right thing. If you just tilt her back, you know, it'll give you a little bit more dramatic stuff. And plus, when you're doing it this way too, like we just said, you have no choice but to start at the top left. That's just the way our brains are programmed, at least in the West. You're gonna look at her eye, and if you start stacking these shadows, right? Like if you see I'm going light, heavy blacks, light, heavy blacks, light from his kick-ass hammer, right? It's following a pattern here, and then you can start, you know, I don't know how heavily you want to render Thor out, but I mean, you probably don't even gotta go that brutal, but you can start doing, you know, what you want with him. And I don't know what you're doing for the background here, if you're gonna put some cross hatching or whatever, but yeah, hopefully you got a little, that helped you out anyway with some, you know, thinking a little something for your composition and stuff. Oh, hello Zelda Momo. Oh, the big girls. But that looks like it's going to wrap the show up for today. So I wanted to say, like always, thank you guys so much. I always appreciate it when you stop by. All the support on YouTube has been absolutely wonderful. So thank you guys so much for watching that. If you're watching the pre-recorded version, or the recorded version I should say, up on YouTube, let me know that you made it all the way through. Just a little comment saying, you know, thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever. If you thought it was pretty trashy or if you enjoyed it, if you got a little something out of it, please share it with your friends. That'd be great. And I wanted to say thank you to all the individuals who are supporting me on Patreon. You guys are the best. You guys are making some really cool things happen in the background that hopefully I can start letting in with you guys. But until next Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will see you guys then. So have a kick-ass week. Keep killing your projects. Keep learning. Keep getting better. Don't stop. I know if you got like a little bit of a art funk, just keep plowing through it. I believe in you. And until next week, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll see you then. Bye.